And now look who's back. It's Bryan Hayes for another edition of Harvey's Hot Takes. Bryan, it's the Bills and the Chiefs for the fourth time in the last 5 years in the playoffs, rather. Buffalo 0-3 in those games. And it's kind of hard to overstate how important this game is, Bryan, for Josh Allen's legacy, isn't it?
Absolutely, man. It's as big as it gets, I think, for Josh Allen here for a number of different reasons. And in large part, it's because of who he's going up against, because it's Patrick Mahomes, because it's at Arrowhead. This whole generation of football, and specifically the analysis of quarterbacking, Jay, revolves around Patrick Mahomes and the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. He is the sun in this NFL universe, and all these other quarterbacks are different planets that just orbit around him, like Josh Allen, right? Like Lamar Jackson, like Joe Burrow, like Matt Stafford, Jared Goff. It doesn't matter what division you're in, what conference you're in. It's all about chasing Patrick Mahomes. And I think if you're Josh Allen, you'd love to win the MVP this year. I don't think he's going to, based on the All-Pro voting. It feels as if Lamar Jackson will win that. And obviously, that's an incredible accomplishment. And I think Josh Allen was worthy of it this year. And it would have been a great accomplishment if he had have gotten it. And maybe he does. We'll see. But I would believe, and I do believe, and I'll state this right here, right now, it is a bigger legacy-building moment that Josh Allen has this weekend at Arrowhead than if he had have won the MVP this year, or if he wins the MVP this year. I think Lamar Jackson would give up his previous 2 MVPs, maybe his third this year, for the opportunity that Josh Allen's about to get. Because the biggest statement you can make, if you're a quarterback right now, it's beating Patrick Mahomes. You have to beat Patrick Mahomes. And I think it's even more significant that you beat him at Arrowhead. Josh Allen has had opportunities to do it in the past. He had a chance to do it in Buffalo last year. It didn't happen. He's had chances at Arrowhead in the playoffs to do it. It hasn't happened. This is the definition of a legacy game for Josh Allen. And the fact that you could end the three-peat, because we'll never forget it. We'll never forget that Mahomes won those 2 straight Super Bowls and then went 15-2 in the regular season. It was at home in the AFC Championship game. Who beat him? That's what we're going to remember. And if Allen can do it, he also punches that ticket to the next step in terms of legacy building, and it's the biggest one you can possibly have, and that's the opportunity to win a Super Bowl. He'd punch a ticket to get to a Super Bowl. If he wins a Super Bowl, and I think he would, I think the Bills will, if they get there, more than likely ends up winning a Super Bowl MVP, which is way more valuable. Again, when we're talking simply legacy, and when we look back 20, 30 years from now, and we look back on the Patrick Mahomes era, and that's what it is, and that's what it's going to be, the questions are going to be, who beat the guy? And did you beat him at Arrowhead? And once you beat him, did you get to the Super Bowl? Because it's different if this was in the wild card weekend, if this was a divisional round, and Allen had to do even more beyond that to get to the Super Bowl. It's right in front of him. I think he's had a remarkable season, the best year of his career. I thought he played really sound football on Sunday to beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. This is the biggest test. And with every loss, if it goes against him, that chips away at the legacy the opposite way. It could not be overstated, like he said. It can't be. It's not possible to hype this up enough, how big of a moment this is for Josh Allen. If he can go in there and beat Mahomes, if he can get through Arrowhead and get to a Super Bowl, again, I think it's bigger in terms of a legacy-building moment, in terms of a career resume moment, than it would be if he would have won the MVP this season.
Bryan, I'm about to shock you. I'm about to blow your mind. The Toronto Blue Jays offered a contract to a player, and Monday that player agreed to the contract. It's outfielder Anthony Santander. It's a 5-year, $92.5 million deal, and it's legit. He's coming to Toronto. And Santander, coming off a career-high 44 home run season with the Orioles, finished second in the American League to Aaron Judge. Last season, the switch-hitting Venezuelan was named to his first All-Star game, won his first Silver Slugger Award. So the Jays miss out on Juan Soto. They miss out on Roki Sasaki. Both times they were just happy to be part of the process. They signed Santander. They trade for Andres Gimenez in December. Is this a good offseason? Have they salvaged the offseason, Bryan?
From a PR standpoint, the answer is no. Okay. It's not. They have not salvaged the offseason. It's a very good signing. And what I would say is Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro in the front office here in Toronto, they have a chance to actually have a very good team-building offseason. They need to do a lot more work. But the fact of the matter is, from a PR standpoint, It's too high of a mountain to climb before you start playing games. And again, it's not just about recency bias here, Jay. Shapiro and Atkins have been at the helm for a decade. They've never won a playoff game. They've never won the division. They've never been particularly close to winning the division. And they're coming off a season last year that was an absolute disaster, right? And how many times did I say on your show, top 10 payroll, bottom 10 team, bottom 10 farm system? They deserve all the criticism, all the skepticism they get. I'm speaking of Atkins and Shapiro here. And what they've done in this offseason is continued to chip away at the insecurities of the fan base, right? Every Blue Jay fan, in the back of their mind, they know this is one of 30. It's different. It's the only Canadian team, right? There's always this inferiority complex. Can you get people to agree to come here? Can you get players to come here? And the fact is they've been the bridesmaid far too often this offseason as opposed to the bride. And the same thing last year, clearly, with Ohtani and others. And I think the Roki Sasaki disaster was the worst of them all. It was the most embarrassing part of it because not only did you miss out on Sasaki, and a lot of teams did, and losing to the Dodgers is not something to be ashamed of. Every team in baseball loses to the Dodgers. It's the fact that the Cleveland Guardians took advantage of you in your pursuit of Roki Sasaki, right? They said, really, you want some international pool money? Yeah, here's a guy that we don't want anymore, and you can take him because you think you're going to get Sasaki. And we all know what the answer was in the end. That was an absolute embarrassment for the Blue Jays front office. And that, I think, was the final straw in terms of the PR this year. But what can they do the rest of the way to actually build on the team and get better in terms of team building? It started today. Right? Santander is a really good piece. Like you said, they needed power. 44 home runs. He steps right in. Maybe they sign Pete Alonso. Sounds as if they're chasing him down. That's another big power bat. Maybe they get another starting pitcher. All of a sudden, you bring in Hoffman. You brought in Garcia. You bring in Santander. You bring in another bat, another arm for the rotation. That's a good offseason in terms of team building. Yep. And I think Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro would understand, Jay, fans are fickle. If you win games, people will come back into the fold. And the fact of the matter is, between now and the end of March, there's nothing they can do about that. But chip away, make some more signings. Today was a really good one. Keep splashing money. Build a team that could be competitive come the actual season. And if and when that happens, all the fans hating on Atkins and Shapiro, and again, a lot of it justified right now, they will all spin back around if this team chases 90 wins in a playoff spot. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's possible if they keep working at this offseason. So from a PR standpoint, it's over. There's nothing they can do. It's rock bottom right now. But from a team building standpoint, they made a big, big move today. If they keep doing that, that will improve their chances of possibly getting the mob back on their side at some point in 2025.
I love the idea of a Pete Alonso on this team, too. You know, if you had just added Jimenez and Alonso and signed Santander and not gone after Soto or gone after Sasaki, then we'd be talking about how great everything was for this team. Bryan, it's always great to chat with you. Bryan joins us every single week on Harvey's Hot Takes.
Hot Takes is presented by Harvey's. Customize your burger and get it delivered from our app to your door. Harvey's, it's a beautiful thing.